Hello, everyone. Yes, you are welcome to today's live session. So, guys, just as usual, we've got some topics that we want to discuss with every one of us. But like we all know, today is the 1st of September, and this is the D month. I mean, the month that we all have been waiting for. It is the month that the judiciary will finally rule. They will finally, tell us who won the 2023 presidential election. And we can't wait to hear that ruling from them. All eyes have been on the judiciary. And I tell you, since the break of today, people have been shouting it louder on the internet that all eyes must be on the judiciary. The obedient family, they've been like raising their voices on the internet, reminding, our judges that this case should be treated, with all sense of justice. They should give us justice, and that is all we want. So there have been so many videos, trending as a way to remind our judges that this is the month we've been waiting for, the month when we are going to settle, all these periods of ups and downs as regards to the election tribunal. This is the time that we are going to know who actually won the election. So, guys, there has been so many clips on the internet. We want to also use this opportunity to remind our viewers, to also remind our judges what is stated in the Constitution. So let's take a look at this clip.
Section 134, subsection 2B of the Constitution. It is to say, it to the fact that no presidential candidate can be declared a winner in this election without having 25% in the Federal Capital Territory. That is very important for the whole world to know that tomorrow's election, wherever to be finally declared, apart from having 25% in 24 states of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the Federal Capital Territory is like a compulsory question. You can answer all that question. The Federal Capital Territory, without having 25%, you go nowhere. This is important. And finally, the broad outline of the 21st century, Dr. Abati, is clear. It offers opportunity for people who can work together, live.
So let's equally take
either the ruling party at the state or at the federal is at the heart of the state of anomaly we find ourselves today. That when we advise people here that call lawyers, engage lawyers, they don't understand. Today, look at the issue about primaries and all that. How many of them recognize the fact that we are preventing them, rather than being candidate for election, they may end up being candidate for the prison? Why? Because look at section, I just told you, all the section dealing with offenses. We have offenses relating to section 114, registration, nomination. Under nomination, section 115, subsection D of the 2022 Electoral Act stipulates that no person shall obtain more than one form as a candidate for different election. And the offense for that, under subsection K, beyond the financial, you will go for 2 years imprisonment. So our advocacy, advising people, don't do this, is to prevent people from being candidate or prison rather than candidate for election. This is concerning the primaries. Right?
So that addresses the case of Shetima, who was nominated twice. And let's finally take a look at this.
At the election. Before we lose track of what we're discussing here, it's not just the case of Shetima. Let's link it together. I mean, we know the judgment of the Supreme Court in the case of Lawan.
So can you raise your voice a bit?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Let's piece this together. We know the case of, first of all, the first slide you brought here was Wike saying that it is impossible for Tinubu to lose at the tribunal. What informed Wike to make that statement? I don't know. But if our judiciary, especially the Supreme Court, is their puppet, then what Wike is saying here is a fact. And if we're going to follow precedent with respect to what happened with the former Senate president, was that his name? Lawan. It leaves much for us to be concerned about. How do I mean? If you listen to what Mike Igini just said, the question you're going to ask yourself is, if Lawan was indeed approved by the Supreme Court to become the senatorial candidate, whereas there was someone who was available for the primaries and who was elected in the primaries and who stood his ground as the rightful candidate of the APC, when did Lawan bought his form? The time for the purchase of form, hasn't it closed before the primaries? All the forms had closed. So when did he purchase the form? Did he purchase 2 forms before the primaries of the presidential? Hasn't the purchase of form closed because before the presidential, there was already the primaries for the Senate? That man that was elected in the primaries had already been elected before Lawan went for the presidency that he did not make. And he went back again. So the question is, did he have the form for the Senate in his bag whilst he also had the form for the presidency? These are confusions that someone needs to explain to us. But if despite all this gap and all this breach of the Electoral Act, as Mike Igini just rightly pointed out now, the Supreme Court still found him worthy to become the senatorial candidate of Yobe. I don't know if it is Yobe South or Yobe East or Yobe Central, I can't remember. Then that gives validity to Wike's statement, because they must be in the pockets of APC and those in power to be able to determine what is the outcome. If Wike knows what the outcome will be, if he says it is impossible, it's not even on a balance of probability. He's saying it is impossible, which means everything is useless except their mandate. Then they must have seen the result somewhere where we can't see. They must have known where a decision is made where we cannot have access to that decision-making table. So that ties it to also what Mike Igini was saying with respect to, you remember that the first clip you played about Mike Igini was before the election. It was before the election. So he was talking, it's like every ear should hear it. APC hear it, PDP hear it, Labour Party hear it, APM hear it. Abuja is like a compulsory question. If you fight other places, go over there to still fight. Inec kept mute. This guy was a commissioner in Inec who served 2 terms, which is he served a full 10 years before he left that place. He left because he cannot be renewed again. He knew what is in the Electoral Act. And Inec kept quiet. Inec also kept quiet when Olisa Bakoba wrote them saying, explain this thing about Abuja. They kept quiet. If we take the fact that Inec kept quiet, they are weighing the option, which one plays out. If Abuja had played out in favor of APC, they will stamp it that you must get 25%. Now that it didn't play out, they say it doesn't matter. Because Festus Okoye, who was also an INEC commissioner, who is a lawyer in charge of education, was brought to channels. And he was asked point blank, explain to Nigerians. He said, no, this education, I will not educate you. Even though it is my office, my Oga, the chairman, will educate you. Didn't that tell you that there is a suspicion? They wanted to use that place to manipulate whatever the outcome. They didn't want to implicate themselves because they know that APC was not popular in Nigeria. So they kept to themselves anything that might impact APC negatively. So if you look at that hide and seek game of Inec disrespecting the letter of Olisa Bakoba, Festus Okoye refusing to commit himself, and Mike Igini saying it and they did not come to say anything, you know that it was a premeditated attempt before the election by INEC to rig the election. If you also see what the law section of the Electoral Act that says you cannot have two forms for the same election at the same time, for two constituency at the same time. Does Lawal have two forms, one for presidency and one for Senate? And is it possible that the form was still available when they had conducted the primaries that elected someone that they later usurped? So, if the Supreme Court could find him worthy, then it should give us reason to be worried. The former retired justice of the Supreme Court, Justice Justice Ogebe, is lamenting. He said that this Supreme Court judgment about Lawal is an insult to the judiciary. He's a former Supreme Court justice. He's a man who grew through the rank and file. High Court judge, promoted to Appeal Court, promoted to Supreme Court, and has done a whole lot of Supreme Court judgment that had to do with election. That was his opinion. We presented him here. He was worried of what our judiciary is becoming, especially after that judgment. And if this same Supreme Court, under the Chief Justice of the Federation, we told that part, then we should be worried. I'm sorry to say this, but this is a fact. This is a fact.
So, thank you very much. So we've also got this video where Falana was really warning our government, because we've seen this coup happening in so many African countries recently. And I tell you, Nigeria, we want to learn from what is happening. We can't just stay and say, okay, it cannot happen. Like somebody, Fani Kayode, tweeted today and said, it cannot happen in Nigeria, it cannot happen in Ghana. But I tell you, you can never predict. With the kind of things we are seeing in Nigeria and in other African countries, nobody's praying for that. But our government must sit up. Let me allow you listen to what Femi Falana got to say.
Said, don't pay for 5 years. We want to encourage you from one block where they're mining gold in Elisha, and the company will make $500 million in 1 year. No tax. But the poor are asked to tighten their belt even when they are dying. Now, the second point, we may be gathered here discussing democracy. Democracy is under threat in Africa. Very serious. I'm sure you know what happened yesterday. You know what happened last month. And it's going to continue. Oh yes, there's no apology about it. I can predict with mathematical exactitude the next country, very close to us, that will experience a coup very soon. Where a man currently suffering from dementia, who has been in power since 1982, what did he do yesterday because of what happened in Gabon? Let me change the commander of the army. You are deceiving yourself. There was a coup. Attempted coup in 2019 in Gabon. The guy survived, but you know what has happened? Yesterday, he also suffers from stroke and dementia. He didn't know where he was. He said, I don't know where I am. But please help me. That is what they have reduced Africa to. You needed to have seen that guy when there was very insulting this their meeting, going to Europe to meet about Africa. Franco-Afro summit. The guy couldn't walk. And none of his colleagues in the Club of African Dictators, African Union, none of them will say, gentlemen, why don't you resign and let a functional person take over the affairs of your country. This guy had stroke since 2009. With the wealth of that country, he couldn't establish a hospital. He was in Britain for years and then went to Morocco. Just like Mobutu Sese Seko, 35 years in power, no hospital. Eyadema was being flown to Israel after 32 years in office. He couldn't fix a hospital like this. This gang of looters here. And that is what they have made of Africa. So please, I think Seun was talking about some comparison. Seun, up to 3 years ago, all the member states of ECOWAS were under one form of civil rule or another. Don't call them democratically elected government. Civil rule. 3 years ago. But what has happened? We have recorded 4. The number is ongoing. Chad. Now Gabon. They are all close to us. But what's the link between Nigeria and Chad and Gabon? How many Nigerians are there? If you must know. Many Nigerians are trading in Gabon. We have a lot of relationship. That country is one of the richest in Africa. It's the 5th largest producer of oil. The population is 2.3 million. Everybody should be living like a king. But the poverty rate is 33%. In that country, small country, the Mabongos, the Bongos, took over the country with their friends, buying riches, houses all over the world, including France particularly. Nigeria has a GDP of 4,900 now as of 2020. While Gabon, the per capita is $14,000. But while poverty rate, while 40.1% of Nigeria live below poverty level, in Gabon is 33%. That's why you had the coup. And like I said, Senegal is the only country that has not experienced a coup in West Africa. But if care is not taken, that country will go under soon because you are the man. Macky Hall, who said he wanted a 3rd term. And people said, no. We chased out President Abdullah Wade, and you took advantage. Now you want a 3rd term. The people of Senegal have defeated him on the street. You know what he's doing now? He wants to plant his own agent. So the main opposition leader, he got him on a Trump charge of rape. He's in jail. So that country is in trouble. None of these guys, including those who are planning to invade Niger, none of them will say preventive diplomacy. Can we talk to these our colleagues to allow democracy in this country? One of them came here 2 weeks ago, and I was just laughing, from Central African Republic, to pledge the loyalty of ECOWAS. I mean, the Central African Republic, to say we are with you in invading Niger. We want democracy. In his country, the guy had just removed judges who told him it is illegal to have a 3rd term. Central African Republic, the country of Bokassa. Now, he removed the judges who gave that ruling and manipulated his way for a 3rd term. The guy in Cote d'Ivoire saying, Nigeria, please let us invade. Alassane Ouattara. You know,
where does all this lead us to? I have a clue. Do you know that Nguema, General Nguema, you know who is General Nguema? General Nguema is the army, the person who is in charge of the elite corps that protects the president in Gabon. He's the person who has now been unanimously selected by the army to head the government of Gabon. General Nguema is a cousin to Ali Bongo, who just got removed. Who else could have been more trusted to protect a president than his own cousin? But his own cousin toppled him. Why I'm saying this is because I'm sure he's referring to the Cameroonian president who changed the army or even in Rwanda. If you change, who will you bring? Your brother? Your cousin? Your friend? It can't be closer than Nguema, who had just taken over the government of his cousin brother. Meaning, there is only so much you can do to protect yourself if you don't take care of the kind of excruciating pain you are inflicting on people with your governance. And I am sure what this man is saying here is simple. APC, don't think that you can overprotect yourself. Which people toppled Buhari in 1983? The same friends from the Hausa Fulanese. They toppled him because the inflation then was something else. By 1985, when they removed him. And APC is treating us like we're a piece of garbage. They are buying bulletproof cars for themselves. Everything is normal and normal plus for them. Their comfort level is increased. The politicians' comfort level in Nigeria is increased at the expense of Nigerians. And when people revolt, they will unleash these military officers on them. What if these military officers refuse to obey them? What will they do? How much bribe can they give them? The fact is this: you can even bribe the generals. But what is the salary of ordinary soldier on the street of Nigeria? Ordinary soldier that is fighting in the northeast or fighting in the northwest. Do they know that these people can get very, very, very angry? A Nigerian army officer's wife who lives in Lagos was crying the other day that her husband's salary, including all the benefits for being in the war front, everything is not up to 100,000 naira. And the flight ticket from Lagos to Kaduna, where the husband is living, is almost more than the salary. Do they know that these military officers, that they are paying peanuts, that they have families they are taking care of? These police officers, they are paying peanuts, that they have families they are taking care of. There may be a few that they will pick to guard them and spoil them, who carries their briefcase. But for how long? Do they know, do they remember that it is those who are guarding the president in Niger that toppled the government? Meaning those people they bring closer to themselves, they make comfortable so that they will take care of them. That deep down in them, there is still conscience in them to say, even though you put me in a good place, but my fellow Nigerians are suffering. I'm sorry, my fellow countrymen are suffering, Nigerians. Two coups that have happened now, the Niger and the Gabon, were carried out by people who are guarding the president. The elite corps, the smart ones. If it is in America, you call them the Secret Service, something of that nature. So are they thinking like this? When they are doing this thing, when Wike is talking the way he's talking as if he owns Nigeria, are they thinking like this? I don't have a gun. To be honest, as you see me here, I have never touched a gun in my life, except for the toy gun I used when I was children and the one I buy my children today. The real gun that carries real bullets, I've never touched it. And I don't have any reason to touch that. But do they know that these people who are guarding them, protecting them, that they are carrying guns with real life ammunition in it? That one day one of them could just get angry and turn and boom, explode it in them. Do they know that they are driving Nigerians? I was listening to one program today and I pray, I say, God, let it not be. somebody said that Nigerians are waiting for the tribunal, that he's not forcing them to do anything that is not the right thing, but that if they think that coup cannot happen in Nigeria, let the tribunal do what is wrong. I was looking at him like this. I'm like, whoa, this guy was talking with every passion. And he said that this tribunal should listen to him, that if they cough wrongly, Nigeria will go down. That if they like, let them mobilize all the armies. That before they kill the last Nigerian youth, the bullet in their gun will finish. But that Nigeria cannot cross this year without Nigerians taking back their country. I was looking at him. I was literally shaken by the man's passion. I was shaken. Do these politicians even know how pissed, how pained, how troubled, how angry Nigerians are? Wait, as we talk, let me check live and direct. What is Naira today? Okay, as we talk. That is what the government has done to Nigeria. This is what our government has done to Nigeria. Just give me a second. I'm going to find it, and I'm going to. Okay, it's coming. For us to know, this is what is happening. They can pay the school fees of their children. They can travel overseas. As of today, a dollar is 917 naira. A pound is 1,170, rising. A euro is 985 naira, rising. In this same country that APC was handed over a dollar in 2015 at 180 naira in 2015. That was what the corrupt, the bad, the evil, quote and unquote, according to them, PDP handed over to them. Look at what they have done to Naira. And that is to say, look at what they have done to the economy. And they are still saying we are the best. I saw a caption that was credited to Sulu, the former central bank, saying that this government inherited Nigeria like a dead horse. Inherited it from who? APC inherited Nigeria from APC. Soludo, please, you are an economist. You are an economist and you have been a CBN governor. Why can't you drop politics aside and look this government in the face and tell them that this government, this APC is a mess? For 8 years now and about 3 months, they are a mess. They have run Nigeria aground. Why can't Soludo keep politics aside? When the governor of Edo State tells them the truth, when he told them the truth last year that they were printing money, they said that he was heating up the polity. Haven't we seen it? He's talking again now, and they are warning him. Why can't Soludo, governor of Edo State, is talking as an investment banker? He knows what it means when you're running and ruining an investment. Soludo is an economist. He's been the head of NEEDS, National Economic Program under Babangida. He knows the truth. And that's one of the problems we have in Nigeria. Those who know the truth will not come, look the government in the face, tell truth to power because of their own ulterior motive. It's a shame. And when this man said, don't provoke the military, it's because at any point in time that a coup had happened, the people had been pushed to the wall and the military intervened. The military, I keep saying, is not the best. They are just an evil of their own self. But why is it that when this evil manifests, people are rejoicing? Why do people celebrate this evil called military whenever they take over power? It's because there is something the so-called civilians are doing that the people will say, let us have the evil called the military than these people continuing in power. That's the way I see it. Anyway, let's continue.
I imagined that the whole of Africa, the entire people of that country, over 3,000 people were killed for him to emerge. Now he's currently having his own thought out. And none of these guys condemn him. Twice now, ECOWAS has attempted to fix a term, 2 terms for president. In 2015, it was defeated by Togo and the Gambia. In 2022, last year, it was defeated by Togo, Senegal, and Cote d'Ivoire. Now, the guy in Togo also expects something soon. In Togo, he and his father have been in power since 1963. Just like this guy who has just been removed, he and his father have been in power for 56 years. Even if you are a traditional ruler, there are people who are waiting for you now. For you, one ruling house, we call them ruling houses. One ruling house can never be allowed to spend 56 years in the African traditional, political system. So why are these guys pretending that we are running a democracy? And for here, please, Honorable Senator, please be careful. Distinguished Senator, be careful. Don't provoke Nigerians to mutiny. Please. Because some of the things going on there, we're in trouble. Sir, 70 billion naira for palliatives for 469 people. And when we say no, they say no. It's for facelift of the National Assembly. No, sir. 3 years ago, 37 billion naira was the amount for facelift of the National Assembly. That contract has not been fully executed. There is no review of the contract. So you can't talk of 70 billion naira for facelift. Secondly, 40 billion naira to buy exotic cars now for leadership of the National Assembly. It's not going to be allowed. The latest provocative news from the National Assembly is that 54 billion naira has been earmarked for constituency projects for 360 members of the House of Reps. It has come to 150 million per person. Under these austere conditions in town. So when these figures are oozing out of the National Assembly, Nigerians have been provoked. And enemies of democracy have been provoked. The military has been honest to say we are under pressure. You didn't read it. To dismantle this rickety political system. But somebody told them, go and deny it. And they denied. Oh, we are not under pressure. But we can read between the lines. And that is why we can't gather here talking of democracy that is under threat. That's number 2. Number 3. Okay. Comrade, lecturer.
All right. It's fine that we listen to this. When you begin to say the military might intervene in Nigeria, they say, you're a threat to democracy. You're a threat to democracy. You can see the context under which such can even be imagined. National Assembly. Remember, National Assembly is not the executive. But National Assembly got 70 billion for facelift. For 70 billion plus 40 billion for facelift and palliative and what have you. That's about 110 billion. This is National Assembly that was inaugurated in June. They still have how many months to go before a year runs out? That is in addition to their package. And nothing is happening to Nigerians. The so-called facelift, they are looking for 70 or 40 billion. 3 years ago, they had 30 billion for it. The same APC controlled National Assembly. That was Lawan's project. Now it is Akpabio's project. Who even audits them? He said, don't provoke Nigerians to mutiny. Don't provoke Nigerians to mutiny. Maybe they may listen, maybe they may not listen. But the mistake the politicians usually make is like what happened in Rwanda or Cameroon. You retire some people, you reshuffle, you promote. As I said, the people who have taken over power in Gabon and in Niger are people who are very close to the president. So sometimes the so-called people you're reshuffling to kick out and bring closer, you can actually even bring closer the people who will topple you. Forget about who you fire and who you hire. Focus on Nigerians. Make life better for them. Nigeria has more than enough resources to make Nigerians, their lives better. Why are we being treated as if we are slaves? Like Femi Falana said, don't provoke Nigerians to mutiny. Because when it happens, Aso Rock may not be as safe as people think that it is. What if the people who will do the thing are actually people who sleep inside Aso Rock? The people who open the gate of Aso Rock? The people who drive cars in and out of Aso Rock? What if? So, I think a man like Mike Igini warned us before, during, and even after election. There is something Mike Igini keeps saying, which I remember. He said that it is the judiciary that will be the only saving power of this democracy. The United Kingdom democracy used to be as dirty as Nigeria, but when judiciary woke up, everybody surrendered. Judiciary, I want to end on this note tonight. Please wake up and deliver Nigeria. Nigeria is sliding very fast. Don't just be comfortable with your own comfort. And I don't know how many billion they appropriated for the judiciary. Don't take the money and be comfortable. There are still hundreds of millions of Nigeria. The majority are suffering. You people in the elite minority cannot just think that Nigeria is okay because you are in your own echo chamber. Because you are in your own echo chamber. Those people who wore bombs and exploded aircrafts in America during the 9/11, they were human beings. Oh. Some people might decide to die for the whole Nigeria. President, Senate, all of you, you never can tell. Those people in that presidential fleet, one of them can just decide and say, look, let me be a martyr for the entire Nigeria. And the whole presidential fleet will come down from 30,000 feet above sea level. You can't imagine. Nigerians are so mobilized now that people are motivated in different ways. People are really ready to take different kinds of measures to save Nigeria. But judiciary, you can do us that business. You can make everybody happy by displeasing just a few elites that say that power must belong to them. This is my prayer to judiciary. Do the right thing. Nigerians, including you people, saw the mess that happened during the election. You know, judiciary, you can imagine a man who every election produced a different degree certificate. Is there not inconsistency there? Judiciary, Nigerians are reading. Oh, it's no longer when they act as if they don't care. Now they are reading. Nigerians are reading the Constitution. P2B told them to go and verify. Now Nigerians are verifying the Constitution, verifying the Electoral Act, verifying the Inec guidelines and guidelines, verifying Inec manual. Judiciary, Nigerians know when you do what is not in the Electoral Act, they know. Please help Nigeria. Save this beautiful country. save this rich country, save this blessed country, and all of us will be happy for it. That is how I will end this night. Thank you, Nigerians.
Thank you very much, Doc. So, guys, thank you all for being a part of today's live session. We really appreciate your presence. Please don't forget to like this video, subscribe to this channel, and turn on the notification bell for future uploads. And with this, I want to say have a pleasant night's sleep and bye. Doc, thank you for your contribution. Good night.
Thank you, Tim. Yeah.